We also need to do, when you talk about the education, I'm being frank here, so I hope I'm not insulting anyone. We gotta extend that education piece to the facility just past the airport, AKA the Elks.
Yep.
That's a big piece of the issue here. And then I will also, so I do understand where my compadres are talking about, there are jet skis that come right past my house, make that right past the airport, and then fly. And they do like a racetrack right there. So again, I understand the point of, once they're already in that area, they're not looking at what's back there. They are literally running 200-meter races in a circle. Again.
No, I witnessed it all summer. Jet skis are probably the biggest problem, and then you have the the whalers, the smaller boats that are beaching, that are zooming back to the boat ramp to pick up something, or back to the marinas, be it any of the marinas, any of the directions. So again, it's a lack of presence out in the water there, where eventually they're going to see that boat enough times, there's going to be enough chirping about tickets and warnings and everything else that it should, you'll see it slowly taper down. I mean, so the previous years when we had the police boat in those waters, we had that one buoy and that was it. And whether or not it was effective, but the department at the time decided to drop it where they dropped it. And they were still, I don't know if you can look up the old records of arrests back there, but it was quite a few. I mean, they were pretty active, and they would just sit by your dock. And I don't know, if you were there back that time, right? Used to sit at your dock or right there, but they would get, the people coming around the corner or flying through the cut. And that's where it's got to stop, is right in that area.
Regulatory in any way, but you can put, you are in a slow no wake zone, or you could put, for safety's sake, don't leave a wake, but it can't be regulatory at all.
Well, that's not regulatory if you're notifying them.
That they're 100 feet?
Yeah, it's like.
I don't know
talking to
that, I
somebody.
honestly don't think a boater's gonna understand what 100 feet means.
No, that's
They
probably
do.
true.
I don't think they saw
That's the state
signs.
requirement.
No, I know, but if I saw 100 feet, I would think like it's an elevation or something else. I would not think that it was, you're telling me I'm 100 feet
I
off
actually
your
went
dock.
over with Terry and showed some of those signs they showed. They were like $8, $10. They were, metal, but they
Right.
said you are in a no wake zone, something like that. But it wasn't regulatory. Those were not regulatory signs.
Excuse me, so here's the just going towards, you're a mariner, you're supposed to be responsible for your wake. That's what you're taught to get your boating certificate. You're supposed to know 100 feet from land, no more than 6 miles an hour, 5 knots,
Yep.
6 miles an hour. That's not regulatory, that's the law, okay? So, apply it to the landowner. You place a sign, no wake zone, 5 miles an hour on the end of your dock or the end of your property. You're not doing anything.
We'd have NCON come and ask you to remove it.
What's that?
You need a permit to do that, and we would ask our officers to come in and ask you to remove it.
They would ask you to remove
So,
it.
I would like to push back a
Nature,
little
you
bit.
don't have a permit for it.
Why?
You need a permit. If you want to put a regulatory marker up, you have to have a permit
And
from
what
DEP.
makes that a regulatory marker?
Just reminding
No
them of
wake
the law.
zone.
And just,
No wake zone,
Because-
5 miles per hour.
Because this is the standard that we use in the state of Connecticut for establishing a slow no wake area. We use these beacons that look like this. There's certain sizes, certain reflective tape, and then we also have the buoys as well. These are regulatory markers,
Those are regulatory.
and they need a permit from our commissioner.
put those up.
Yes.
So the ones I showed Terry that we could get on Amazon, it looks like you guys shared it with the group, but
we did.
Recording in progress.
those are acceptable.
Well, let me look at them first before you go and spend. the
And
money.
actually, they look like the one she has,
Yeah.
regulatory
No, not the one I
ones.
showed you. It said you are, I think it said you are in a no wake zone. And it didn't have any of that on there.
You are in a no-wake zone is not
It says no
regulatory.
wake
I
zone,
know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
For,
5 miles an hour, that's it.
for the record,
Reflective.
for the record, laws are regulatory. It's regulations, it's what a law is. So as individuals, you can't make up your own laws and put them out there. You can do informational signs, you are in a no-wake zone, that's just stating you're in a no-wake zone, but you can't say you gotta stand back 100 feet because that's a regulatory sign. We can like it or not like it, but that is how the state is going to interpret it. And that's, we're up against, I know there's a lot, I know you guys are frustrated by this, but we still gotta meet the rules and regulations of the state of Connecticut. We still have to do that.
No
How
problem.
to address,
So my point would be that, so what would be permittable to place on the end of the dock? No wake zone?
No,
One of
Something like
Something
this.
like-
You are in a slow, no wake zone.
yep,
yes.
and it can't look like anything, any of the markers that are in the CFRs can't look like anything like it.
Okay,
We have
So the one that we wanted to buy won't work.
No.
This is, a nice way of saying it too.
okay.
And do they have to be that size?
No,
Can I
this
make
is
them
just,
bigger?
I just printed this out.
Okay, I can turn it into a big, huge
Yeah.
poster?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so to find something that's, okay, the issue, no problem,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You are in a no
I'm
wake
getting to you in a
zone.
second.
To try to find one that is robust, meaning you place this sign and it is going to last. We're in a maritime, we're in a marine environment, it's gotta last.
So,
Has them.
what you got?
It's not the one I showed Terry, but is that regulatory?
Yeah, that's too much.
You
Really?
Yeah.
That's too much?
Yeah,
Small and-
that's.
That's not the one I,
It's like mimicking
showed
this
you.
though, Jeff.
Big, no wake.
Well, that's,
All right. All right, I'm gonna,
That's not right either.
I am going to move on. You had you have a comment, sir?
yes, Mayor.
All right, everybody listen up. I'm only gonna have I want one conversation at a time. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Rob Walsh. I'm also currently the chairman of the Elks Marina Committee. My deputy chairman had a, I believe she had an appointment. Jeff, last fall, gave us some of that signage to put on our docks, the gates to both of our docks, the non-regulatory ones, saying that you are in a slow, no wake area. And we'll do everything that we can to further this along. I understand what you guys, your folks want, and we'll try to cooperate. One of the things, to this gentleman, I could give him something. I had a friend of mine print out an overview of Baker's Cove, and there's a natural channel in Baker's Cove which necessarily comes to the ends of most of your folks' pilings and dockage.
Right.
If we could go out in the middle and go up and down, we'd do it. We can't. So I'd like to give you that. That's,
If you go online and look at GIS, you'll see it very clearly
you can
on
see,
GIS. I realize you don't care, but that's the issue. So the channel's not, I mean, it really is a natural channel there, and that's a challenge. Now, we have already conducted some outreach with the Elks, and we will continue to work with the Elks for the boaters that are going out and coming back in to ensure that they are acutely aware of the no-wake zones and their contribution to this so that they're not violators.
and
Then we'll have
say,
to deal with the external boaters that come in and go from there,
Yeah.
so.
Just as an FYI, we do not have any jet skis at the Groton Lodge of Elks, the marina. We don't have them, they're in our bylaws. So if you see those, they're rogue agents, and they have nothing to do with the Elks.
And I also try to cover the boat launch. I manage the 117 boat launches in the state as well. And I tried to manage our boat launch users with these similar signs that I can make. They're temporary right now, but I posted these up on the pilings there. And also, we do have a boating education assistant that will educate and tell people and do vessel safety checks, educate people about AIS, the boating safety laws, do you have enough life jackets, do you have enough whistle? And please understand that when you're entering in the water from this boat ramp, you are in a no-wake zone. So they reinforce that with people that may be coming from different areas that are not familiar with these water bodies or the ordinance that we have there.
Sir.
We're fortunate at the Elks, we have a gentleman that is a certified examiner for the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And he very happily, given enough time and a phone call, he would come in and they do like a dry run. Basically go through all of your equipment, make sure your lights are on. So when you're out, and he'll give you a paper, if you're out and be boarded, it's basically show them that and he sees the date and it's very recent and generally it's right along. So,
So I will say just that we, after that incident with Terry, the no wake, I went over to the Elks. They were very receptive. They put out emails, and there are a few guys that choose to go a little faster. But again, with the police boat out there, and again, you know, it's just a matter of getting back into the.
yeah, I mean, I'll give you my number. So if you have an issue, if it's one of our folks, we certainly can take care of it. I have no plenary power over the Long Island Sound, but
Yeah, right.
I do have some recourse with the people that dock at our docks.
Understand?
Yeah.
Nothing is gonna happen here until we get back into the course of doing regular business.
Right.
Correct.
So that's what it all boils down to. So the amount of time, and by the way, right now, we're planned out there for 15 weeks. So that's what we're planning to do. We will cover the entire boating season while we're out there. If we're not doing boardings, or actually I should change that around. If we're not writing infractions and/or education warnings, then we are going to do boardings because that's also part of our job to make sure the people in the water are safe. So.
Hey, Peter?
Question for you. So, a lot of this is about people using, a whole bunch of people using the same amount of water, all right? So, we're all talking about no wake zones. Someone, please tell me, where is the channel marked for Pine Island Harbor or Baker's Cove?
Well, it used to be on a USGS chart. The channel was marked very clearly through the Butchie Point cut, although it was never buoyed. There was no channel. It comes around Pine Island Belt in through the red and green buoys, and it turns and it goes up to the old Sawyer lobster pound and stops.
Okay, thank you for your memory. I want to ask the question again. Please. Most of this is about marking your channel. If a channel is marked, then every mariner is responsible for where the hell he's at.
But
If you don't know where you're at, you don't know what you're supposed to do.
You're not breaking any rules though by going out of the nav channel. As long as you feel comfortable, you have a chart in front of you, and you know you got 2 feet of water there, there's nothing an officer can stop you and say, excuse me, you're not in the nav channel.
My point is, how come our channels are not marked? If you go down Mystic River, is the channel marked? Yes. All the way from the point of entry, all the way to the Mystic River Bridge. How come the harbor, right by Avery Point, Bayberry Lane, which is a state facility, okay, and going into the area, is not marked? It's a navigable harbor. Mark the channel.
Well, My understanding is it's not gonna be marked.
Never gonna be marked.
It's not gonna be because it is a dead code, for lack of a better term. It's cul-de-sac. And that's why we're not gonna be able to get red and green markers on it.
And if you look at your chart plotter, it clearly tells you where to be going.
Right.
It's,
The Elks Club puts out its own markers in a certain area as it comes into our turnaround area. The reason we do that, because the channel can vary from year to year, and we try to keep it open by keeping it tight, so we basically dredge the channel by going in and out the same patterns. But we do that, it's on our nickel, it's basically for our clientele, but.
primary
certainly if you-
navigation is the general term.
But you need to have a permit for that too. We
Yeah,
can talk later.
they must have somewhere along the line, it's been there,
There was.
there were day marks before then, and then they went to.
Here is one.
Yeah,
So
bike
example,
paint was,
when you're coming in from Avery Point, the mooring field that is out in front of Shenecosset and Pine Island, when you go through there, there is a designated area through there, you can see it right and left exactly where those moorings are and where there are no moorings.
Yeah.
That is your assumed channel.
It's
you're wrong.
it's not really the channel.
yeah,
Right,
but you're wrong.
I can't
If you,
agree with
if
you
you,
more.
if you ever watch Dick Sawyer go out, he goes right through the middle of the sailboats, not through that clear area.
I know,
Of course, he's passed away now, but.
I agree,
So you said it's a perceived channel, it's not a marked channel.
right.
Yeah, if you look on the charts, there's a clear marked channel, fairway,
Right.
as it says on the charts, that would take you along Pine Island's dock, across to, over to Shenny, across their dock, up by
Right.
Yukon, and then out past the breakwater. That's what the Army Corps had put down in designing the mooring field. But you can go anywhere you want out there. There's no,
It's the Wild West.
no, it's not the Wild West, you can't go tearing through there, but you can, at no wake, you can
Restrained by death is all.
Just stay slow.
And death,
All
yeah.
right, I'm going to move on, because we're not gonna resolve this issue now. The water around the next question is, the water around my mooring is a no-wake zone by state statute. Can I replace the mooring with a no-wake zone buoy without a permit? The answer is no, we talked about that.
Right.
Alternatively, can I sell a no-wake zone buoy next to the mooring without a permit? The answer is no, we talked about that. And is it permissible to attach a no-wake zone metal sign to my dock pilings without a permit? The answer is no. We talked about that.
Right.